Hello and welcome into the first installment of Mindset and Muscle. I know it's been a little while since I've posted on YouTube and social media. I've got a little one on the way, as a lot of you know, and life has been crazy busy with all of that, but I missed it and I missed you guys, and I really look forward to getting back on here, to being able to answer questions for you, help you out with your workouts, nutrition, offer motivation, and offer an insight onto what my current training, nutrition, and bodybuilding goals and plans are, as well as just what's going on in my day-to-day life as well. I'd also like to tackle some of the more mindset things that are going on in the fitness industry, hence mindset and muscle. A lot of things get covered muscle-wise, fitness-wise in the industry, how to work out, nutrition, and all of that. But I feel especially nowadays more than ever with the prevalence of social media and with photoshopping, editing, body dysmorphia, all of that, it's important to cover some of the mindset things that are going on in the fitness world as well. Anything from mental health to physical health to body dysmorphia issues going on, all of that I would like to cover my perspective and hopefully offer some encouragement and some help to everyone out there on how to get their absolute best physique, but also how to get the healthiest, best mindset for life. We'll go ahead and kick this off by going through a shoulder and bicep workout that I'm currently doing. So in future videos, we'll be going through a full day of eating for me, what my current bodybuilding plans are, workouts, exercises, how to train certain muscle groups, all that good stuff. But let's start off with a workout. You can see the exact exercises I do, how I execute them, and we'll talk you through all of that. So let's get into it. So let's get into the workout here. For every workout, I'll start with 10 minutes of incline walking on the treadmill. Just a nice steady pace to get the heart rate up, get everything warmed up, get my mind focused, get that music on, everything clear and ready to go. Before I get into upper body workouts, I'll warm up my shoulders and rotator cuff. I've found this to be invaluable for helping prevent injuries. I'll warm up my elbow as well. I'll do some internal and external rotations. Sometimes I'll use a dumbbell, sometimes I'll use a resistance band, some light shoulder presses just to get everything firing and in place. And then I'll warm up the elbow with some light overhead tricep extensions. I'll do this on both sides, aiming for around 10 to 15 or so repetitions of each exercise, and this has helped me avoid rotator cuff problems and tendonitis. Our first exercise for shoulders today was a tri-set or a giant set. We started with seated side lateral raises. You'll notice here that I'm performing these in a very controlled motion. The seated allows you to brace your core a little bit better and minimize the rocking and momentum used. You'll see a lot of people who try to go too heavy on this exercise and are flailing around using a lot of body momentum. The other thing I'm focusing on is I'm stopping just shy of coming all the way down on the repetition. This keeps constant tension on the side deltoid and doesn't allow it to relax at any time. After the side laterals were completed, we aimed for 15 repetitions. I slid forward and bent forward to move into bent over lateral raises. So moving from the side of the deltoid to the rear delt. This is a great exercise to isolate that rear deltoid, and it takes a little bit of practice to feel it. One thing you want to focus on, this is a very short range of motion, you want to focus on keeping the shoulder blades and the scapula steady. So a lot of people will turn this into a rowing movement and drive their shoulder blades together, squeezing them at the top. This will bring in the rhomboids, all the muscles of the back, the traps, and take away from the rear deltoids. So small range of motion, just focusing on isolating those rear delts. After 15 repetitions there, we moved into 15 repetitions on each arm of front raises. So this moves on to the front of the shoulder, the front deltoid. So with this giant set, we've warmed up all three heads of the shoulder, 15 repetitions apiece, and we did 3 rounds of this. So shoulders were nice and toasty and ready to fire. when we moved into the heavy compound exercises, which for today was machine shoulder press. So we did a couple warm-up sets, even though we were fairly warm, just to work up to a good weight. We did our working set, our heavy working set of 8 to 10 repetitions to failure. And then we also did a back off set of 12 to 15 repetitions at a little bit of a lighter weight. So shoulder press was the main compound movement for delts on the menu today. Again, you'll notice I'm performing these in a very controlled motion. Towards the end, as you get close to failure, it's good to channel some aggression and use some explosion on the exercise, but you never want the form to get sloppy, and above all, you never want the tension to leave the muscle. It's very easy to shift from the shoulders into making this more of a tricep or chest exercise. After the shoulder press, we moved on to 5 sets of 15 repetitions of cuffed cable laterals. I absolutely love this exercise because it really allows you to focus on isolating the side deltoid. The way the cables are crossed in the middle also provides tension throughout the entire range of motion on the shoulders, even in the stretched position. You never come to a point where the tension comes off the shoulders and the muscle is allowed to relax. And then the exercise, the strength curve actually gets a little bit easier towards the top when you're at your weakest, whereas it's more challenging at the bottom where you're at the strongest. So it really works with the muscle strength curve to provide a nice, steady amount of tension throughout the entire range of motion. I like the cuffs because it eliminates the grip from the movement as well and allows you to just focus on contracting the shoulders. After this, we moved into a rear delt exercise, which was dumbbell swings. Normally I would do this lying face down on an incline bench, but for whatever reason, all of the benches were taken up, so we improvised and went over to a preacher bench. This is again even a shorter range of motion than the bent over dumbbell laterals, where I'm using a little bit heavier weight and just focusing on moving that 6 to 8 or so inches apart and then keeping the dumbbells from touching together at the bottom so that there's constantly tension on that rear delt. You'll notice that's a big theme. I've probably said that about a dozen times already, constant tension. So this is a great exercise to really fry the rear delts, go high repetitions. We did 2 sets of 50 there. That was it for shoulders. We then moved on to biceps, starting with a single arm cable curl. We did a couple sets on each arm to warm up before moving into the working sets. I really love this exercise as it allows you to isolate the biceps, and the cable really allows for good tension even towards the end when you start to fatigue and form starts to get a little looser. It doesn't allow you to use momentum to your advantage the same way a bar does. That cable really keeps pulling down and having you fight against it the entire range of motion. So definitely one of my favorite exercises for biceps, a great one to start off with as well if you have trouble connecting to your muscle and having that mind to muscle connection in your biceps. This is a great exercise to build that. After the single arm, we moved into dual arm cable curls. We did these as 21s. So we did 3 sets of the 21 reps. For 21s, you do 7 repetitions, going from the bottom to about halfway up with the range of motion. Once you get 7 there, you take it all the way to the top and go halfway down for 7 more. Once you complete that 7, you do full range of motion for the final 7 reps. This will give you a crazy pump, crazy burn in the biceps. It was a great exercise. It's been a little while since I've done this one, and it absolutely felt phenomenal. By the time I was done with the 3 sets, I was fried, but we still had 2 more bicep exercises to go. Next on the menu, we moved on to machine preacher curls. You can use whichever machine you prefer. You can use dumbbell or barbell on a preacher curl bench if you don't have access to a preacher curl machine. But we did. I really liked this one. It provided good tension throughout the range of motion, allows you to really brace yourself and take any sort of momentum out of the exercise as the back of your arms are locked in place, solid on the pad the entire exercise. So we're aiming for 12 to 15 repetitions here on this exercise. Coming up, you'll notice me pausing at the top, getting that good squeeze, that good contraction on each and every repetition, and then coming all the way down to a full stretch. You never want to hyperextend your elbow or straighten your arm all the way down at the bottom. Just go down until you feel a good stretch on the bicep and then control back into a contraction at the top. This is an exercise that I've seen in videos before where people have torn their biceps by using poor form, trying to go too heavy, exploding too much, or going into too deep of a stretch without controlling the exercise. So you really want to be careful, but if done correctly, this is a phenomenal exercise to isolate and grow your biceps. In our final exercise for the day, we moved into reverse curls. We did 2 sets of 20 repetitions. We did 10 reps with our wrists kind of turned downwards, and then we moved into 10 repetitions with the wrists flipped upwards. This is a variation of the exercise that I saw in a video from Kai Green when I first started bodybuilding, and I really liked the feel of it. So not only does this hit the biceps and the brachialis, but it also targets the forearm muscles, which are a very important and often neglected muscle group in bodybuilding. So you'll see here I just switched. My wrists are now flipped to neutral or slightly up for a little bit of a different feel on the exercise for the final 10 reps. So that was it for shoulders and biceps for this workout. I hope you enjoyed, and feel free to comment any questions you have below on any of the exercises, and I will be happy to answer those. So that gives you some insight into what a current shoulder and bicep workout looks like. My bodybuilding goals right now, I'm going into a grow season. I just started there, and we're going to make a push for a pro card in Classic Physique 2024, shooting for junior nationals around that time. So time to put on some quality size and do whatever it takes to get that pro card in 2024, and it will happen. So stay tuned. Follow along for the journey. I appreciate each and every one of your support, and I am so excited to share this road to the pro card with you guys. Now let's dive into some of your questions with the What Does the Fox Say Q&A. So I will be uploading videos to YouTube 3 days a week on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So leave a comment with any questions below, or you can tune in to my Instagram page at Noah the Fox, and you can message me there as well, and I will get to your questions as soon as I can. So without further ado, let's get to some of your questions. There are a lot of great restaurants around the Tampa Bay area, depending on what you're looking for, price range, all of that good stuff. So I'm going to list my 2 personal favorites. The first is Terra Gaucha Brazilian Steakhouse. It's one of those places where you flip the card over to green and they'll keep bringing you different cuts of meat. Flip it to red and they'll stop. They have a great salad bar, amazing quality, amazing service. A little on the pricier side, but once you pay that all you can eat for lunch or dinner, you are pretty much set. They'll keep bringing meat to the table until you are stuffed. I love a good steak, so I absolutely recommend that place. The other place is Umami. It is an all-you-can-eat sushi place, kind of in between the Tampa and St. Pete area. It is all-you-can-eat. That includes the steaks, the teriyaki chickens, salads, fried rice, as well as sushi and sushi rolls. Very good quality, delicious, great atmosphere, very reasonable price. So Umami for sushi and Terra Gaucha Brazilian Steakhouse, my 2 favorites. Currently, I am training chest once a week, so it all depends on how you train the muscle. If you're going to train with a little bit less intensity, then doing twice a week is great to stimulate that growth. With the intensity I'm currently training chest once a week is all I need. It's almost like an HIT Dorian Yates style training. I find that works really well for me when it comes to packing on muscle mass. So once a week, we will get into chest specifics in a chest training workout in a future video for sure. The headphones that I really like and use are the Studio Beats with the sweat protector covers. I definitely prefer headphones that have sound cancellation because then you don't have the gym chatter and oftentimes not so great gym music distracting you from your workout. And then definitely the sweat protectors are a must for me. I also prefer headphones that go over the ears rather than in the ears because when you get really sweaty, the headphones in the ears can be like, bleh, and I sweat a lot during my workouts. So Studio Beats, those are my go-to. Full posing routines, as well as flexing videos, pec bouncing, and season 3 of Mega Pecs, The Adventures of Mega Pecs, are all going to be coming back on Patreon. I will be posting 3 days a week on Patreon starting tomorrow. That would be Wednesday of this week. So make sure to check that out if you're interested in seeing my posing practice, flexing, just messing around with different pec bounce videos, and of course, Mega Pecs. Or if you'd just like to support. So I will put the link in the description below where you can check out my Patreon. And thank you in advance for your support and enjoy. Yes, as I touched on a little bit earlier in this video, there will be competitions coming up in the summer of 2024. So stay tuned, watch me on the road to that pro card. It is going to be epic. Can't wait to share that journey with you all. We saved the best for last, that natty or not status. So throughout all these videos and with any of my videos on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, I am going to be open and transparent with you guys, honest and upfront so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Now, this does not mean that I suggest that you do what I'm doing. I'm just going to let you know what goes into my prep and my road to pro for that IFBB Pro card. So currently, I am not on anything. I am natural. In fact, I have been for a year and a half. Now, that does depend on your definition of natural because for some people, if you've taken stuff in the past, then you're never natural, and I kind of do agree with that. But in my prep, the 16 weeks going into the Arnold Amateur 2021, I did run a cycle to try and make a push for a pro card there. We came up just short with 3rd overall in the classic physique. With that, since then, I have not been on anything. So for about a year and a half, I have been natural, if you want to call it that. Now, this is apt to change going into this prep, obviously, but for now, we are and have been for the past year and a half not on anything, which just goes to show, and that includes TRT, not on anything except creatine. And that just goes to show what can be achieved with hard work, consistency over 10 years, proper nutrition, and proper workouts. So if you want to stay that route, you absolutely can make insane progress with that. If you want to go the other route, that's completely up to you. And as I said, my status is definitely apt to change once we start getting ready for competitions. So I will be open with you guys if and when that happens and what that all looks like. So stay tuned for all of that. Thank you so much for your questions. We will get to more of them in future videos. That's going to wrap it up for today's video. Thank you so much for watching this video, for supporting me. I hope that in return, I am supporting you by providing you with good information for your physique goals, answering your question, giving you motivation to absolutely crush your goals and dreams. Let's get our mindsets right. Let's get our muscles right. And let's crush it this week. Thank you again so much for watching, and tune in for the next video. I can't wait to see you then.